Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Trailblazer. Today we are going to take what we learned from episode 7, which was all about external validation and comparing yourself to others. And we're going to turn that into a discussion today about finding self-validation instead and self-confidence and cultivating self-love. And we're hoping to give you some tips and tricks to grow that self-validation and love for yourself. And we're also going to have some fun with how the story of how Des and I became friends. So we're super excited to talk today, and let's blaze the trail!
TrailblazHER podcast aims to blaze the trail of growth, empowerment, and self-love for women and beyond. Together, we will look through the eyes of a modern woman and address the challenges we must overcome to live our best lives. Are you ready to hear what you need to hear? Are you ready to become the best version of yourself? Keep listening for some life-changing inspiration.
Thanks for tuning in. We are so happy that you're here. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook at TrailblazHER Podcast. You're always welcome to slide into those DMs as well. Please slide into those DMs.
Slide on in.
Or send us an email. We love getting your emails. Please email us at trailblazherpodcast@gmail.com. Your feedback is always appreciated. Please let us know what worked for you, what you liked, what you didn't like, if you have any tips or tricks on how to improve.
Reach on out. So Julie, before we get into that good that we put together this week, I thought we should share a wee little sneak peek into our friendship and how we got where we are. Should we tell the people of our shenanigans?
Girl, we gotta tell the people about the shenanigans. Didn't we meet? We met in volleyball tryouts, right? Ninth grade?
I think so. It was like the summer before 9th grade when we met each other before that, I think, but we didn't know it when we were playing basketball in middle school.
Really? I don't know if we ever played basketball in middle school.
Did you play at St. Thomas?
Yeah.
I played at Northside, and we played each other, and your team won, and you gave me shit about that for a while.
Really? Oh.
That happened. You don't remember this?
I vaguely remember now that you're bringing it back. I vaguely remember.
I thought you were about to shit talk me right now, so this is a relief. I could have told you we won, and you wouldn't have even known. I wish I had. I was like, Julie, we kicked your ass. I remember distinctly. I dunked on you. Like, it was wild.
Dude, it wouldn't surprise me because we're just a little Catholic school team. You know, we don't have a whole lot going on, but you public school kids, man, y'all know how to ball.
We wilded, man. We wilded. I don't know how you guys won. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, but it's surprising.
I don't know how we won either.
Must have been a good day. The Jesus juice must have got to you.
We must have gone to church before the game.
I guess so.
But girl, should we tell them about a few of our fun stories?
The legal stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, but I also not the stuff that's forbidden.
No, right. We do have some forbidden things we can't talk about. But dude, so one thing I'll never forget is the time we ding dong ditched in my neighborhood.
Oh my god! Multiple times though, right?
Multiple times.
But this time, I know what time you're talking about.
Okay, so Des and I, we're in high school, right? Sophomore year, junior year, maybe. And so Des and I, we grew up in a little rural town in northern Indiana, and there was not much to do on the weekends, if you can imagine. So Des and I kept ourselves entertained by walking around my neighborhood after dark and ding dong ditching my neighbors.
It was a good time.
It was so freaking fun. And on this particular night, I believe we first went down to this really hot guy's place, and he went to our high school. I forget his name, Des, but I can picture him in my head. He has blonde hair. He was like a grade 2 above us. Levi, yes. Levi was super hot, and he lived in the neighborhood. So Des and I walked down to his place, and we always do a little bit of investigative work before we start. So we were like peeking around, trying to figure out the best plan of attack. And
Like, people definitely
I
would
go
have
around
called
back.
the cops on us at this point had they seen us. But we were
absolutely.
undercover. It was black ops. We had masks.
Dude,
we were ready. I don't know
hats,
if we had
hoodies.
Oh,
like,
yeah. It was like hoodies and gloves.
Yeah, we were decked out. We did not want to be caught. So we made sure to hide ourselves pretty well. But so we were going to do a double ding dong ditch on this house, right? So you remember this one?
I remember, but I've never heard anyone call it a double ding dong ditch, and that's the best shit I have ever heard. Please write that down.
Yes.
Trademark that. Oh my god.
Trademark.
And they were gonna pull the double ding dong ditch.
The double
Never
ding-dong
before
ditch.
landed.
Never before seen footage of the double ding dong ditchers.
Exactly. This poor family, man, they should have been filming. This was straight out of a horror movie, man.
Oh gosh. So back to the story. I went around back and Des was at the front. She was at the first she was first part of operations here. So she rang the doorbell and ran and would run around back to meet me. And then we would watch from like the backyard, and we would watch the family get up and go to the front door and answer the door, only to find that nobody was there. And then as soon as they least expected it, we would run up to the back window or the back door, and we would knock really loud on the back, and then we would run to the tree line and hide in the woods and watch them come around back and like look out the window like, huh? Who's there?
This is horrible shit, man. Like, whatever, man. The statute of limitations, I think we're good, but
oh gosh. And
shit.
if we didn't run far away enough from the house, they would definitely hear us cracking up in laughter. So we always had to like run real fast and real far before
we got our cardio in high school.
Yes. Oh, that was so funny.
We had fun.
We had so much fun.
We had fun. I love it.
We don't ever really miss birthdays unless we're in different states. Like we do parties together. We've done a lot, dude. We've been friends for 13 years.
Yeah, man. And you moved to Nashville with me, which we'll tell the people about. And you never got to visit me in Dallas, though, did you?
No, I did. I visited visited you. Girl, that's when we got our mermaid tattoos.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god, for my birthday. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you totally did. So yeah, it's never stop. Never stop. So
never stop.
Yeah, we're gonna do a whole friendship episode in the future, so.
Yes. Very excited. Maybe episode 9 or 10.
Something like that. You guys keep an eye out. It's gonna be the real. So now that we've shared a little bit about our friendship and you guys get a little sneak peek into why we're so fucking tight.
A wee little sneak peek.
A wee little sneak peek. So last week we talked about self-worth and the ramifications of valuing external validation over your own. Today we want to get down and dirty on how you can start validating yourself and believing what you have to say. We'll present strategies to grow your self-confidence and your self-esteem and how to begin to undo the self-deprecating habits we've built from a very young age. If you missed the last episode, don't forget to check it out. This episode can definitely be listened to independently, but episode 7 is a great lead-in for everything we're going to talk about today. So let's fucking get it.
Let's get it. Let's blaze the trail to self-confidence.
Hey. So one of the things we hit on last episode was how it's not all about you. And it sounds kind of harsh on the surface to say that. Like, I would have taken that probably as an insult if someone said that to me. But it's actually the opposite. When we think everything revolves around us, it often creates problems out of nowhere. If we have an interaction with someone and they seem upset or moody or something, we think it has to do with something we did. And there are endless examples like this. But what it really comes down to is thinking that other people are always thinking about or are affected by us. But that's not the case. It's seldom the case. We just tend to think of ourselves as people. Because, the only mind we can control is our own. So we're kind of obsessed with ourselves. And that's okay. It's supernatural. But you have to remember that that's what's going on. If you forget that's what's going on, you can get really lost.
Oh yeah.
And I recently read a book. It was called The Four Agreements. Thank you, Ava, for the book suggestion. I read that book in like, I don't know, it was like 150 pages, and it was like large font, and a fifth grader could have read it. Like, I read it in a day.
Nice.
By Don Miguel Ruiz. One of the agreements in the Four Agreements book is to take nothing personally. And I have been going super in on that one. Because I tend to take everything personally, and not to the degree where like someone says something to me and I'm like, well, like, what the fuck? Like, why would you say that about me? That's an insult. Like, not to that degree, but everything I'm internalizing and I'm making about myself, and I'm wondering what I did wrong and why I did this or why I'm not getting recognition. But it's, it's so many things I'm making about me that they're just not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just now starting to see that. And it's like, the more you know.
Wow. Dude, I actually just listened to a podcast that mentioned that same book just yesterday. So I'm interested in that book. I'll have to definitely check it out. Sounds like...
Oh, yeah, I'm going to mail it to you.
Yeah, oh, awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was already on my to-do list.
Awesome. So on your journey, does reading this book and learning about the first agreement, take nothing personally, what are some things you've begun to notice about yourself? Either that you're changing or that you still might have some work to do. Like, just tell us about the journey so far.
Just started this journey, so much work to do to undo like almost a lifetime's worth of thinking, right?
Oh wow, yeah.
So in just 1 week, yeah. And it's been 1 week for me. So I've literally just started, and I've grown to know that it requires patience to make big changes like this, and it's going to take a lot of practice and a good amount of time to retrain my mind. So in just 1 week of putting this to practice and just calling myself out, I've already noticed a difference, and I felt more free. And I'll just tell myself when I start to make it about me, I'm like, wait, what's this? Take a step back. Like, what's this really about? And I've just been working on not taking anything personally and worrying less about what people think. And it's super challenging.
Oh yeah.
On every level. It's a constant, like, conscious battle. And there's this idea that nothing anyone else says or thinks or feels about me actually has an effect on me or who I am as a person. And it's crazy because we literally invent what people think about us. Like, we put words into other people's mouths. Like, we tell ourselves they think this about us.
When I read in the notes how you said we literally invent what people think about us, that was like, I had just like smacked into the front of a door type of thing, where it like, I was like, whoa, that is so true. And we don't even realize it. We always make it about, we always create these ideas or these things that people are thinking or saying about us, and it's not even true.
Exactly.
So that was really mind-blowing to me. So I like that.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's pretty new to me as well. And it's just like, if you just say to yourself, like, sometimes you think, oh, well, this person thinks I'm X. Has that person ever come to your face and said, I think you're X? Like, I think you're,
Right.
If they haven't come to you and said that to you, then whatever you are thinking they think of you, you are inventing or inferring or assuming. And that's actually one of the 4 agreements as well, is to not make any assumptions. So, yeah. So, I mean, this guy's onto something. Definitely check out his book. But my point is, stop putting words into people's mouths. Stop telling yourself that other people think X of you. You have no idea what they think of you unless they share that with you explicitly.
So true, and such a good thing to remember. Like, that is such an impactful thing.
You're right. And so easy to forget. So easy to forget.
Oh, so easy. So easy.
But you got to get it tatted.
Right. On the inside of your eyelid so you can always look at it.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. So, as you were explaining all of this, something that came up in my preparation for this episode, and also just to piggyback off of last episode when we first brought this up, if you guys remember, I talked about how social media really, unfortunately, has a bit of a grasp on me, is how I described it, and how I let it influence the way I think about myself or about others. And I also just waste a lot of time scrolling, and I'm trying to figure out how to find a better balance of consuming social media, but also producing it, and not being such a consumer and being more a creator. So what I did recently was a social media detox. And actually, Des, I got this from you. You did this about a month ago, I think. So last Monday, the 17th, I logged out of Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram, and I deleted Facebook Messenger. I don't have Twitter, so I don't have to worry about that one, but told myself I was going to be social media free for 7 days. And my brothers and I actually did it together, my two little brothers, Alex and Anthony. And so I was successful. I completed the 7-day social media detox. And besides feeling more clear and having more clear thoughts and being more present in conversations and more engaged with people around me, I actually feel that the disconnect I was able to create during those 7 days helped me feel a little bit more confident in like posting different things on social media. And I know it was just 7 days, but I've been doing a lot of other internal work along with this stuff. So I'm just saying that maybe if you feel the way I felt, and if you feel like you're way too involved in consuming social media and you're wasting time on it, maybe you're comparing yourself to others, maybe even having FOMO all the time because you're like viewing everybody's story and everybody's having a fun time, you're just sitting on your couch, maybe try logging out for a couple days and seeing how it makes you feel.
I love that.
So yeah. I bring all that up just because you were talking about your journey, Des, and something you were working on, and that was something I've been working on that ties into this episode and why we're talking about this today. So
yeah. At any time in that journey, did you feel FOMO? Like you miss your phone, like you were afraid you were missing out on news or social media, or like, connecting with people or something?
I don't want to call it FOMO, no, but maybe just missing out on like my friends' lives. I interact with like the same group of people on social media that I talk to on a weekly basis. So just missing out on what they post.
Yeah.
But something crazy that because I logged in Sunday night after my 7 days this past Sunday just to catch up on notifications and reply to people and things like that. And then I actually logged back out and I did 2 more days of no social media. And I went back on today because I have a few things I want to post for our podcast. But I realized, though, I miss a lot of information if I'm not on social media because I don't watch the news. And I didn't even hear about that. Isn't there like another situation going on about somebody who got shot? So I didn't even hear about that until I logged back into social media this night, like just an hour ago. And then also I realized that no matter where you go on social media, whether you're there or not, it still all carries on without you.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a weird thing to think about. Like everybody still posts no matter where you are, or like if you're involved in it or not. Like everybody still just does their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like social media is not missing you.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It's just a weird thing to think about.
Yeah, that'll make you feel unimportant, but you're right though. I mean, it's social media. Like, there's no one like, oh, where's Julie? Everyone stop your posts till Julie gets back.
Right.
Like no one gives a fuck.
Right. Nobody noticed. Nobody noticed that I hadn't been replying to them for a week.
Well, you're not super active on
but that's okay. Like
yeah. That's good.
But I thought it helped me.
That's good. I think it will help all of us. Like even if you don't enjoy it, there's benefits to it. And I mean, this is taking it on another level, but I know there's different. You can get it in different cities all over the world, but they have these camps basically where you go for 2 weeks, kind of like a monk type experience, supposed to be spiritual, and you have nothing. Like you have no phone, you're doing nothing. Like you are living walking in nature, like that's it. Like you're being with yourself. That's it. And it sounds really fucking hard. And I hate that it sounds so hard, but people come out of it supposedly like so much closer to themselves. And I believe one of the guys that did it, his name is Colin. I'll get you his last name. His name is Colin, and he crossed the continent of Antarctica. The first man to ever cross the entire continent of Antarctica by himself, I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's done so many crazy, insane things like that. But that's something he did. And anyway, it was just like on another level, it will help you get more in tune with yourself because you feel a little naked without it, right? And so you have to be in your nakedness. And what is your life like? What are you like? What is life like without social media when you're naked?
Whoa, man. Such a good call out, such a good question. And yeah, that's my whole thing. I'm working on trying to figure out who I am at the end of the day. Without external influences and external validation, without social media and likes from others.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out.
It's like somewhere along the way we lost that. Wow. And I think, next episode we're already ready to talk about identity and kind of where we can lose ourselves along the way. And in the meantime, though, I want to bring in that it's so important, going back to putting words into the mouths of others and you making it seem like other people are judging you, even when they might not be, because you are putting thoughts into their head on their behalf. Mm-hmm. So stop that shit. Stop assuming what people are thinking and saying, and stop putting words into the mouths and the minds of others. And just let all of that sink in. Let the nakedness sink in. And
the raw.
Let yourself be raw. For real. It's hard. It's scary.
Very scary.
And I feel like it's sad that that's so scary, But as children, that's who we were. And I think we need to kind of come back into that inner child. Like, I wonder all the time.
Oh, yeah.
What could we be? Who could we be? How could we be if we stopped caring what others thought of us? What, for real, might you be doing, Julie, if you did not care what anyone thought of you? If it didn't matter if you failed, if it didn't matter what you look like, how you dressed, or what what would you be doing?
I would probably record myself singing different songs and post videos of me covering songs, and I would learn how to sing a bit better, and I would probably talk more to strangers and make more, or attempt to make more friends, put myself out there more. And I might even create some sort of spiritual life guidance type of business. Mm-hmm. And lastly, I would probably have my nose pierced and have a bunch of tattoos with crazy hair.
I didn't know the last one about you. That's awesome. And I'm hearing this, and I feel like I see the real you just trapped inside the you that society wants you to be. And I feel like you're trying to break out of this cage. So true. And it feels like, oh, what a beautiful piece of art. I just have the picture in my head of Julie in the cage, and the Julie that you just described to me in a cage trying to get out, and the Julie that you are stopping her.
Dude, it's like an everyday battle for me. But I wanted to bring something up before, because I want to ask you, I want to know what you would do if you did not give a fuck about what others thought of you. But I also just want to, you said something earlier about getting connected to our inner child, mm-hmm. right? And getting back to who we used to be before we learned how society wanted us to be.
Yeah.
And so I'm a spiritual person. I'm into crystals. I'm into tarot card readings and things like that, and meditation and all of that goofy stuff. And so a spiritual guidance counselor, if you will, suggested that I purchase these things. They're called oracle cards, and basically it's a deck of cards that you shuffle and you pull one every morning, and it gives you like a message or a topic to think about all day, or to see how you can implement that into your life that day. So the one that I did one right before we started recording tonight, and the one I got is called, it says, the meditation, visualization, inner realms in the mind's eye. Take time today to meet with your inner child. Close your eyes and see them with your mind's eye. Regardless of the state they are in, embrace them, listen to them, and provide them with unconditional love today.
Look at that. And we're going on the inner child. That's awesome. It's a sign.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Tell me about what you would do, Des, if you did not care what other people thought about you.
I might try stand-up comedy. I've thought about that for a long time, and I think I have moments where I can be funny, but I get so freaked out about the idea of being in front of people and facing like rejection like that I'm like, maybe I would just write the jokes for someone else so they can be the face, you know? So for me, that's like probably the scariest thing, because I'm not super afraid of like speaking in front of people, but just like, that's such a raw, vulnerable thing, comedy. And then what else would I do? I would be less afraid of failure. So I'd be engaging in riskier behavior for things that I love to do. Like I want to open up a gym. I want to open up a bar. I want to be an entrepreneur with my own business. And part of it's just like, I'm afraid to fail because of myself, but I'm also afraid to fail because I don't want anyone to see me fail. So I'm working on letting that part go. I'm working on letting both of them go, because that's the main thing. And, you know, I maybe would consider, I say maybe because I haven't given this enough thought, but I would maybe consider running for political office. But the thing about that is, even if you get into politics because you want to do good for the people, no matter what, there are always going to be people that don't like you, and they don't like what you do or what you say. And so I feel like as a politician, that's very challenging, because even if you're really awesome at what you do and you have the best interest of everyone in mind, you know, there's like an intrinsic opposition to you, and you have to, if you are worried about what people think of you and you let that impact your decisions, then you're not going to be a good politician. So anyway, those are some of the things I would do if I stopped giving a fuck what people think.
Yo, so first of all, you would totally be a great stand-up comedian.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
You should try it. You're so funny. Dude, you should do a skit and then just record yourself. Just record yourself doing it. John doesn't have to be home. You can just let loose, record yourself, and then watch it when you're done. And you're probably going to critique it like we always do, but just see how good you are. And then maybe you do that like once a week, and then you build your confidence and things like that. And then you start posting comedy videos. It's
crazy because like as you're saying this, I'm like, this bitch is crazy. I absolutely am not going to do that. There's no way I'm going to laugh. And then at the same time, I'm having this inner conflict in my dialogue where I'm like, don't talk about yourself like that. If you had a friend who said that they weren't funny, you would tell them to practice and to watch videos and to ask for feedback. And it's amazing how we just can put ourselves down so quickly on that. And even right now, I'm not convinced. As I'm saying this, I'm not convinced I'm going to do that. But I should do that because, like I said, I would do it if what people thought about me didn't matter. So why am I so hesitant to do it otherwise? So it's wild.
You got it, girl.
It's got a leash. We got to break free. We got to break out of this. So I wrote down some things. I think it's important. Maybe we could have explained this sooner, but that's okay. You know, I want to know why we're like this. I want to know. I think the reason is because we all want to belong. We all want to fit in. And it's just part of human nature to want to feel one with those around us. And we fear being alone. We also fear standing out because that's a form of being alone, right? And when we're afraid to stand out, we're holding ourselves back. And you can never be your truest, most unique, one-of-a-kind self if you're afraid to be different. And that, my friends, is the challenge. And that is what's so frustrating. But we need to start building our self-confidence, our self-worth, our self-love, all of that from the inside out. And so what I was saying was maybe we could have defined this sooner, but here we are. We're going to tell you all about it right now. We're going to define the differences between self-efficacy, self-confidence, and self-esteem. And I got these definitions straight out of the New York Times. I'm just going to read them out of the New York Times. Self-efficacy. This term, as defined by Albert Bandura, a Canadian-American psychologist, refers to your belief in your ability to accomplish specific tasks. If you believe you're capable of cooking dinner or completing a project, this is reflective of high self-efficacy. People with low self-efficacy often put less effort into a task if they don't believe they'll succeed at it, increasing the likelihood of failure.
Self-confidence, in contrast, according to the same doctor, Dr. Bandura, self-confidence is more of a general view of how likely you are to accomplish a goal, especially based on your past experience. When you practice playing piano, you increase your confidence in your ability to play the piano, and this can also apply to how likely you believe you are to be accepted in a social group. If you've been made fun of for your underwater basket weaving hobby, you might be less confident sharing it with others next time. Self-confidence and self-efficacy are both rooted in experience, but self-confidence reflects a broader view of yourself rather than your confidence in specific tasks.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then...
So what's self-esteem then?
Self-esteem, the term most often confused with self-confidence, is the one perhaps least similar to it. Self-esteem refers to a belief in your overall worth. So I believe this word's interchangeable with self-worth. Broad statements like, I'm a good person, fall into this category. Self-esteem is one of the levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and improvements to self-confidence can contribute to your broader self-esteem.
So how do we build these things up?
How
do we repair these things?
That's what we got to get into. That's the meat of this, really. You know?
The meat and bones.
How do we do it, Julie?
Well, when I learn about something new, either a new concept or a new behavior that I want to implement into my life, I always like to ask myself 3 things. Okay? First thing is, what should I stop doing in order to be successful at X, Y, and Z? The second one is, what should I start doing in order to be successful? And the third one is, what should I continue doing to create success?
Yes.
So, Des, what are some things you think we can stop doing right now that tear down our self-confidence?
First of all, great strategies. Stop doing some things. Start doing some things. Keep doing some things. I love it. You broke it down.
Yes.
So
easy, right?
Easy. So everybody can remember these. One is you got to stop doing the things that are tearing all your selves down, your confidence, your esteem, your efficacy, your worth, your love. Stop doing all the things that are tearing those things down. You got to identify negative self-talk.
You got to stop.
Why are you experiencing negative self-talk? Identify when you're taking things personally. Identify when you're making assumptions or you're putting words into the mouths of others.
The why behind what you're doing, the negative self-talk, really helps you find your jumping off point to implementing a new behavior or strategy. You got to know why you're doing something in order to change it, right?
Yeah. If you don't see that it's there, you're not going to be able to make changes to it. But you're here. If you're listening, you probably have interest in making those changes. So that's really good. So, when you establish what's going on, then you got to change your strategy. You got to stop hiding from things that you're afraid of people, stop hiding things that you're afraid of people knowing about you. Stop hiding from situations where you feel that you'll be judged. Stop judging yourself. Stop judging others. And then you will stop believing others are always judging you. It's a little circle. So
Dude, that's such a good one. Stop hiding things that you're afraid of people knowing about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good. And that we create, kind of like we create what other people may be thinking or judging us for. We also create these bigger situations in our head that if this person knew this about me, oh my gosh, they're going to hate me, or oh my gosh, they're going to think I'm weird, or they're not going to like me, they're going to stop being my friend, blah, blah, blah. But we do the same thing to ourselves. We create these scenarios in our head that aren't even real because we haven't even told the person the thing that we want to tell them.
You're so right.
You know?
Oh my gosh. And now I'm like I'm literally looking in the mirror at myself because my office has mirror closet doors, looking at myself and like just embodying everything that you're saying as you're saying it. And just like, we don't share these things about ourselves. And I'm thinking to myself, like everything that I've shared with people, not everything, excuse me, but a lot of things I've shared with people or that I've chosen not to share with people make me seem like I'm someone that's completely different than who I actually am. And so you're living, you're literally living as like a persona of yourself. It's wild.
Not even real.
Not even real.
Yeah. You're creating a different version of yourself to give others. What?
Wow. That's messed up, dude.
Like earlier, just to give you an example, earlier when I was talking about the crystal thing and like the oracle cards and the tarot cards, I was like, oh wow, I've like never really talked about this stuff before. And immediately when I was done explaining all that, I'm like, oh wow, I wonder if I should cut that off the podcast.
You better fucking
because
not.
I think people are gonna think I'm weird or whatever. But that's an example. I just did that to myself. That I was just talking about there.
It's so crazy because I just, so you know, like as I was listening to it, I didn't think it was weird at all. I was just, you know, but I know it's not my opinion you're worried about at this point. I think, you know, at this point I'm ride or die, but like, you know, it's the other people that we worry about, and we are like afraid of being alone, afraid of standing out, afraid of just being real and raw. And I'm just so excited about just realizing this just now in my life. And I wish we had both realized it sooner, but I'm also really glad we didn't realize it much later, you know?
Yeah. Good point.
Oh my gosh.
Good point.
So we talked all about the things that we need to stop doing. Can you get us going on the things that we should start doing?
Yes. So if you want to start building that self-confidence, positive self-talk and affirmations really help. I was looking it up. There's actual science that backs up positive affirmations actually help you find success more often than not. And another thing, just to get super vulnerable with everybody right now, another thing that I struggle with is feeling like my accomplishments or the good things I do in my life aren't really that good or real. It's called imposter syndrome, which could be a whole other episode, Des, if you'd like to go through that. And I recently received some guidance about this as well, and I just started on Sunday giving myself permission to tell myself one thing I'm proud of every single day. And I either write it out loud, I either write it down or I say it out loud. And every day I tell myself something I'm proud of accomplishing. And this goes back into what we were talking about earlier, Des, getting back to our inner child or our inner being, who we really are, and knowing ourselves. Kind of like the guy who trekked across Antarctica by himself and how he got to know himself really well without external influences. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm doing by telling myself I'm proud of something. So that's one thing too. The positive affirmations, they really work. It's really helping so far. Another thing you can do is get physical, move your body, exercise, go on a walk, get to a body image that you're comfortable with. Also, though, you can also just change the way you perceive your body image. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're really critical of ourselves and we don't need to be. So check the way you look at yourself and give yourself some grace. Look at yourself in a better light, and I believe that'll help you create a positive, prettier, better image of yourself.
I love that you said that because I think it's a perfect mix of a lot of us, we just genuinely do have some things physically we could do to make ourselves feel happier or proud of ourselves or like feel good about our image when we look in the mirror. And then there's also pieces in each of us where we are creating a problem that's not really there, right? Like we're saying like this, I look this, or I don't like this, when that part, you might just be really hard on yourself and being unrealistic about something. And I love that it's a little bit of both. And I love that you spoke about, it not just being only about doing physical stuff because that will help, but also about changing your perception when you look in the mirror too. That's so real.
Oh yeah. Perception is key. Keep it in check.
In life, yeah.
Oh yeah. Another thing you can do is journal or have reflection sessions on what you want to stop or start doing. So take 10 to 15 minutes a day, find a notebook or a journal, write down what went well during the day, what could be improved for the next day, or a goal so you can get back on track to start fresh again. Des and I, we talked about reflection in like one or two of our original episodes, and you can find prompts online on Pinterest. You can create your own questions, but just reflecting and being in the moment really helps you to become centered with yourself and find what makes you confident. Another thing that you could do, which we talked about last episode as well, is start exposure therapy.
Yes.
So step out of your comfort zone and do the things that make you feel uncomfortable over and over and over again, because this theory states that the more you put yourself out there, the more you get out of those comfort zones and do those things, the easier they become. So this might mean posting a picture on social media, or going to a party and making a friend, or speaking up on the work conference call, or going up and saying hi to 3 people in the grocery store. Do the things that make you feel weird, because that often means you need to do them if you want to grow.
Yeah.
In that way.
I love those challenges. And I hope people embrace them and tell us what they tried. Try something. Feel alive. And you might be like, you might try something and it may not be you, but sometimes you have to undig yourself. Like you have a lot to unbury and unpack, right? So you go to the grocery store and say hi to 3 people, you might be like, yeah, that's, I did that, but that's not me. Like, I don't want to be that person, right? Like I'm a little bit more reserved, and that's okay. But at least then and without trying and putting yourself out there and just being raw and just like I said, unpacking yourself, that could be a mystery. Yeah.
I like that. Find what works for you.
Challenge yourself. Tell us what challenge you do, please, because I want to hear that people are actually like applying this and trying to just be more real. I think we're all a little fake these days, at least in the US. We're all a little bit fake.
Yeah, unfortunately. My last one here is simply just start giving yourself grace, or patience, or forgiveness, acceptance, and ultimately love. Just love who you are. Because I think the major reason why so many of us lack this confidence and self-esteem is because we haven't quite learned how to love ourselves yet, or who we are.
Yeah. We got to accept, who we are and love who we are. I'm not there, but I'll be there. I'm going to get there.
I'm not there either. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm on my way.
Yeah. No. We should be loving ourselves. Why would we not love ourselves? Why? I'm struggling over here. What better way to live life than to live life as a person that you love? Don't live life as a person you don't like.
Well, I think if we want to go back up to that definition, we read about self-confidence, how the Dr. Bandura talked about if you tell people about your underwater basket weaving hobby and people make fun of it, you might be less confident sharing it with others next time. So I think as we are in our child years, our years as children, we are that raw person who doesn't know anything about the world, and then we go to school and we make friends with people, and then we get bullied for like our teeth or our weight or the clothes we wear or the hobbies we have or whatever, and then those are external indicators that shut us down over time and make us feel less confident in who we are. And then that also, I think, like less self-confidence, I think also correlates to less self-love in the same way. Or maybe self-esteem, because you said self-esteem could also be self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just we put ourselves out there as children, and our true selves get shot down. And over time, we just learn that what we're doing with ourselves must not be that cool, so we just stop loving ourselves over time. We love ourselves less and less.
Yeah, we trained ourselves to say, oh, people don't like this part of me, I'm going to tuck it away. Oh, people don't like this part of me, I'm going to tuck it away. Here's the thing, though. Just like I said, as being a politician, maybe that's just true for everyone. Not everyone's going to like you. And so you have to stop tucking parts of your real self away because someone doesn't like you. You have to let yourself just be who you are despite that. And that.
You just got to be unapologetically you.
No apologies. And by the way, pay attention, ladies, to how often you say I'm sorry. Just pay attention. So, Julie, what should people keep doing if they're already doing it to help build their self-confidence?
Well, I think you should start by evaluating the current things that you do or say about yourself that make you feel confident or validated, and keep doing that stuff over and over and over again. So maybe that means doing your makeup because you're really bomb at doing makeup, and just keep doing that, girl. Keep making you feel pretty and flawless. Or style your hair a certain way if you really like your hair that way, or wear a certain outfit, or listen to your favorite song that makes you feel pumped up and beautiful and energized and confident. Just keep doing all those things that you've already found that really pump you up. Just keep doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Keep doing you. That's it.
That's it. So I just found 2 quotes I like and I put them on here. So I was going to share that.
Yeah.
There was only one variable that separated the people who have a strong sense of love and belonging and the people who really struggle for it. And that was the people who have a strong sense of love and belonging believe they're worthy of love and belonging. That's it. They believe they're worthy. The one thing that keeps us out of connection is our fear that we're not worthy of connection.
Whoa.
Right?
Deep.
That's good. That's not me. And why did I not put this person's name? We're going to have to include it in the show notes. This is not my quote. This is not my original message, and we will include in the show notes who this belongs to. I'm sorry, I left that out of the notes. So there's this guy named Charlie Houpert, Houpert, who has a channel on YouTube, and he also is the author of a book called Charisma on Command. I think that's what his YouTube channel is called as well. And he says, if you believe you can get your dream job if you apply, there's a chance, however small, you might get it. If you don't believe that you can get it and you don't apply, it's guaranteed that you won't. Self-confidence doesn't magically make you better at what you do, but it does prime you to take the risks necessary to achieve your goals. Like, blow your mind. Like, whew. Confident people obviously are more likely to take the leap, right? Like, we could just be holding ourselves back because we don't have confidence. We might have confidence because we're afraid of what people think of us, and we're not being our truest selves. Like, that just makes me so sad.
Dude,
right?
So sad.
What you got?
We gotta really work on this.
We gotta work on this.
Mark Twain says, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sail, explore, dream, discover.
Love it. Sail away.
Sail away. And then Bruce Lee says, always be yourself. Express yourself. Have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and duplicate it. Be yourself.
I love that because I think I've looked to what I would call successful personalities before and tried to understand what they're doing and what I should do to get on their level. So I think that's a very good advice.
Oh yeah, I think we all have. With the availability of celebrity lives and information being so out there at the touch of our fingertips, I'm sure everybody wants to duplicate the people they like and admire so much.
I think you're right. But the only people we should be are ourselves.
Just us.
I'm so excited to just keep pushing on this journey of self-confidence and self-love and self-worth. And I know that you are too, Julie. So I hope that everyone else is jumping in on that. And next week, we're going to really get into how thinking what other people think of, how worrying what other people think of us, and how pouring ourselves into everything we do might have robbed us of our true identity. And so we're going to get into identity.
Yes. I'm super excited to touch base on identity next week and dive deeper into that, because I think it might be a really good foundation for a lot of us to start building on our self-confidence. I think that might be where we need to do the most work. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for next episode.
I think it's so interesting that you say it's a foundation to start building your self-confidence, because I had viewed it as the end goal is to be your realest self. But I also think that what you said is true. So I think it's both. Isn't that crazy? So you'll kind of build them. I think simultaneously you're going to be uncovering your own identity while building your self-confidence. And so it's going to be the foundation of the house and probably the roof too. It's so cool.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
Visuals, girl.
So good. So excited. So don't forget, guys, our episodes come out every 2 weeks. We are TrailblazHER podcast. That's TrailblazHER podcast. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and all your favorite podcast platforms. Please send us an email, trailblazerpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Send us a message, send us a text. You guys have been so great about reaching out. Don't forget to tell us what we could do better, what you took away from the episode, what you tried, any tips and tricks you want to add so we can share with everybody else. And thanks. Always.
Go blaze that trail.
Go blaze that trail.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.